Hello students, this is Kanupriya, PGT Geography, and this is my next video on chapter 6, which is secondary activities. This is the last video on this particular chapter. In my previous video, we had studied about the classification of industries, in which we had discussed that industries have been classified on the basis of their size, on the basis of raw materials, on the basis of ownership, and on the basis of output and product. So today we'll discuss the rest of the topics of this particular chapter. So let's discuss them one by one. Traditional large-scale industrial regions. In my previous video, we had discussed about the classification of industries on the basis of their size, in which we had studied that industries have been classified into three types on the basis of their size. First one is cottage industries, second one is small scale industries, and third one is large scale industries. Under large scale industries, we had discussed that it has been classified into two types, that is traditional large scale industries or traditional large scale industrial regions and high-tech industries or high-tech industrial regions. So today we'll discuss about these two, that is traditional large-scale industrial regions and high-tech industries. So let's start with them. First one is traditional large-scale industrial regions. Traditional large-scale industries are based on heavy industry, that is heavy raw materials are involved in traditional large-scale industries. These industries require heavy raw materials, so these are often located near the raw materials or near the coal fields, because these types of industries require coal. They are engaged in heavy metal smelting, that means iron ore smelting or number of other activities like iron ore smelting. Heavy engineering is involved. There is chemical manufacturing or textile production. These industries are now known as smokestack industries. These are called as smokestack because it produces a lot of smoke during the production, and it produces a lot of pollution during the process of production. So these are the characteristics of traditional large scale industries. Traditional industrial regions can be recognized by there is high proportion of employment in the manufacturing industry. There is high density of housing, but all of them are of inferior type and poor services. There is unattractive environment. For example, there is pollution, waste heaps, and so on. There are problems of unemployment, emigration, and closure of factories because of a worldwide fall in demand. Nowadays, traditional large-scale industrial regions are not in demand, and because of which there are problems of unemployment, emigration, that is people are exiting, they are moving from that particular place to some other places, and there are closure of factories because there is a fall in demand. The Ruhr coalfield Germany. This is an example of traditional large-scale industrial region. This example will show you how a particular landscape, how an industrial region has been totally transformed into a new landscape as the demand for those industries and their products have declined. So let's start with it. The Ruhr coalfield Germany has been one of the major industrial regions of Europe for a long time. Coal and iron and steel industries form the basis of the economy of that particular area. But as the demand for coal declined, the industry started shrinking. Even after the iron ore was exhausted, the industry remained, using imported iron ore brought by waterways to the Ruhr. The Ruhr region is responsible for 80% of the Germany's total steel production. That means earlier the Ruhr coalfield area in Germany is considered to be the best area for the production of iron and steel. But as the demand for these products has declined, the industries started shrinking. Initially, the Ruhr region was responsible for 80% of the Germany's total steel production. Even the iron ore was exhausted in that particular area, the industry still remained using imported iron brought by waterways to the Ruhr. Changes in the industrial region or changes in the industrial structure have led to the decay of some areas, and there are problems of industrial waste and pollution. As after some time, the industrial region, that is Ruhr coalfield region, started shrinking, and because of which there are arrival of some problems like industrial waste and pollution in that particular area. The future prosperity of the Ruhr is based less on the products of coal and steel, for which it was initially famous, and more on the new industries like the huge Opel car assembly plant, new chemical plants, universities. Out of town shopping centers have appeared, resulting in a new Ruhr landscape. That means initially the area was totally dependent upon industries, that is iron and steel industry, and mostly steel production. But as the demand for the products have declined, the industries had shrinked. So the Ruhr landscape has been totally transformed. Initially, where there are industries, but in future, that is now, it has been transformed and new plants, new chemical plants, assembly cars, universities and shopping centers have appeared, leading to a new Ruhr landscape. So this was traditional large-scale industrial regions. Now comes the concept of high technology industries. High technology or simply high-tech industries are the latest generation of manufacturing activities. That means these industries involves highest level of technology for the generation of products. It is best understood as the application of intensive research and development efforts leading to the manufacture of products of an advanced scientific and engineering character. High-tech industries involves intensive research and development for the manufacturing of new products which are of high scientific and engineering character. High-tech industries involves white-collar workers. That means it involves professional workers, highly skilled professional workers are involved in high technology industries. White collar workers greatly outnumber the blue collar workers. Blue collar workers are those who are engaged in secondary activities. So white collar workers mainly outnumber the blue collar workers in high technology industries. That means mostly professional workers, that is white collar workers, are involved in high technology industries. There are some examples of high technology industries which includes CAD, that is computer aided design. That is with the help of computer designing process is done. Then we have electronic controls of smelting and refining processes. That means if smelting and refining processes are done, so it has to be done electronically. New chemical and pharmaceutical products. We know we prepare number of chemical products, we prepare number of medicines, and all these are done under high-tech industries. Then we have robotics on the assembly line. That means everything will be done by the machines. That means machines are used to do the task repeatedly. So these are the examples of high technology industries. There are certain characteristics of high technology industries. These industries are neatly spaced, low, modern, dispersed, office plant lab buildings rather than massive assembly structures, factories and storage areas mark the high-tech industrial landscape. That means these industries do not require big structures or large structures during the production or during the manufacturing process. But these are neatly spaced, they are modern, they are dispersed, and they are like office plant lab buildings. Plant business parks for high-tech startups have become part of regional and local development schemes. High-tech industries, which are regionally concentrated, self-sustained and highly specialized, are called as technopolis. That you have to remember. What is technopolis? These are high-tech industries which are present in a particular region, which are self-sustained and highly specialized. Those are called as technopolis. The Silicon Valley near San Francisco and Silicon Forest near Seattle are the examples of technopolis. So these are the characteristics of high technology industries or high-tech industries. Now comes iron and steel industry. The iron and steel industry forms the base of all other industries and therefore it is called a basic industry. This we have already discussed in my last video that iron and steel industry is called a basic industry because the products of iron and steel industry are used by some other industries for the production of new product or for the manufacturing of new product. So that's why these industries are called as basic industry. It is basic because it provides raw material for other industries such as machine tools used for further production. It may also be called as a heavy industry because it uses large quantities of bulky raw materials and its products are also heavy. Iron and steel industries are called as heavy industries because it uses heavy and bulky raw materials and it produces such products which are also heavy. So that's why it is called as heavy industry. Iron is extracted from iron ore by smelting in a blast furnace with coke, that is carbon, or coal and limestone. The molten iron is cooled and molded, that means shaped, to form pig iron, which is used for converting into steel by adding strengthening materials like manganese. As we know that we cannot use iron ore directly, so we have to convert it into its pure form. So iron is smelted in a blast furnace along with coal and limestone. Later on, manganese is added to it so that it can give strength to iron. So by this process, we can use iron for the manufacturing of new products. The large integrated steel industry is traditionally located close to the sources of raw materials, that is iron ore, coal, manganese, limestone, etc., or at places where could be easily brought, for example near ports. Since these industries are heavy industries, they require heavy and bulky raw materials, so these industries are located near to the raw materials. But for mini steel mills, markets are very important rather than inputs. So these are located close to the markets. Now comes the distribution. The industry is one of the most complex and capital intensive industries and is concentrated in the advanced countries of North America, Europe, Asia. In USA, most of the production comes from the North Appalachian region, that is Pittsburgh, Great Lake region and the Atlantic coast. The industry has also moved towards the southern side of Alabama. Pittsburgh area is now losing ground. It has now become the Rust Bowl of USA. Initially, Pittsburgh area was considered as a great area for the production or for the iron and steel industries, but now it has become the Rust Bowl of USA. In Europe, we have UK, Germany, France, Belgium, Luxembourg, the Netherlands and Russia. These are the leading producers. The important steel centers are Scunthorpe, Port Talbot, Birmingham, Sheffield in the UK, Duisburg, Dortmund, Dusseldorf, Essen in Germany, Le Creusot, Saint-Étienne in France and Moscow, St. Petersburg, Tula in Russia. Then we have Donetsk in Ukraine. Then we have in Asia the important centers include Nagasaki and Tokyo, Yokohama in Japan, Shanghai, Tianjin, Wuhan in China, जमशेदपुर, कुल्टी बरनपुर, दुर्गापुर, रोरकेला, भिलाई, Bokaro, Salem, Vishakhapatnam, Bhadrapati in India. So these are the areas where iron and steel plants are located. You can locate all of these areas in the world political map. The last topic is cotton textile industry. Cotton textile industry has three subsectors, that is handloom, powerloom and mill sectors. Handloom sector is labor intensive, that means it requires labor and provides employment to semi-skilled workers. It requires small capital investment, that means it requires less money. This sector involves spinning, weaving and finishing of the fabrics. The powerloom sector introduces machines and becomes less labor intensive and the volume of production increases. Cotton textile mill sector is highly capital intensive and produces fine cloths in bulk. Cotton textile manufacturing requires good quality cotton as raw material. So cotton textile industries have three subsectors, that is handloom, powerloom and mill sectors. Handlooms require more labor and less capital investment. Powerloom sector involves number of machines and it becomes less labor intensive, that means it requires less labor and volume of production is more. And in mill sector, it is highly capital intensive, that it requires more money, less people are involved and produces fine cloths in bulk. So this is all about cotton textile industry. India, China, USA, Pakistan, Uzbekistan, Egypt produce more than half of the world's raw cotton. UK, northwestern European countries and Japan also produce cotton textile made from imported yarn. Europe alone accounts for nearly half of the world's cotton imports. The industry now has to face very stiff competition with synthetic fibers, hence it has now shown a declining trend in many countries. With the scientific advancement and technological improvements, the structure of industries has changed. For example, Germany recorded constant growth in cotton textile industry since Second World War till the 70s. But now it has declined. It has shifted to less developed countries where labor costs are low. Initially, Germany recorded constant growth in cotton textile industries, but now there is a transformation of that industrial regions. Now cotton textile industries are more in less developed countries where labor costs are low. So these are the areas where cotton textile industries are located. So this is the end of the chapter. I hope all the topics that we have covered are clear to you. If you have any doubts, please come up with your doubts. Thank you so much.